All right. Now joining the show for, I believe, their third time, we've got good friends of the program, Jake Corso and Jeff Peach of the Vault CT. Make sure you go follow them on Instagram at the Vault CT to find the best thrifting deals in Connecticut and probably in New England. So, Jake, Jeff, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Thank you for having us back.
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to get you guys back on, especially you guys just hit a pretty big milestone. You hit over 3K on Instagram. So how does that feel for you guys? Especially it's been a long time you guys have been running the vault, and it seems to have grown pretty quickly. And now you guys are at 3K. What's that been like?
It's been awesome, dude. To start something from nothing, basically. We started this as a school project way back in the day, as we talked about before, and then it kind of came to life. And then from there, it's been one of those things to where we're growing slowly. With it, we're trying to find what works best, what doesn't work. And it's a majority of local following too, and that means the most to us. Now that there's people from Connecticut that don't know our first names or don't even know of us, but they know of the brand. They want to be a part of it, and it's truly just something that's awesome, and it motivates us to keep going, and keep building.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so when you say you've kind of found your lane, kind of figured out what works, what doesn't, what's been kind of a thing over time that you thought may work when you guys kind of first started up that maybe just didn't end up panning out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just trial and error. I think it's kind of like anything, whatever you kind of do in life, trial and error, and you kind of just figure it out. We went through a long while of trying to figure out what would sell and what we wanted to sell and kind of where we wanted to put ourself and our business in the space. Because there are a lot of people that do vintage. There's a lot of people that do secondhand selling and stuff like that. So we kind of wanted to find that place that solidified us, and be authentic in the same stride. So just trial and error, finding what works. And as the following got bigger and as we continued to do stuff, we kind of figured out what worked, what would sell, where we wanted to be, how we wanted to brand, and just kept the train rolling since.
Yeah, that's I mean, you guys obviously are on the right path. Did you guys think that this was going to become what it was going to become when you guys started this as a school project?
Like yes and no.
It's tough. Yeah,
I was to say that's a tough thing, because it's one of those things that I feel like after every single year, like we'll sit down and like look back at it and be like, wow, that's really where we were like a year ago, and like almost like look back at that and it's like, oh, that like we were doing that.
Right.
It's one of those things that as time goes, we're growing ourselves, and trying to find the best way to market it, the best prices to sell it at.
Starting to see that picture almost
Exactly.
of like, I mean, back like in high school, no, we probably weren't thinking like this is what we're going to do or this is what it's going to turn out to be. But as time has gone on, we've had conversations that's, we can really do this and this is what we need to do and where we need to go. And again, trial and error, trying to figure that kind of stuff out. But recently the picture has kind of gotten more clear.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So did you guys take last time you guys were on, it was kind of recapping your trip down to Tennessee. Did you guys make another trip to look for more clothes? I didn't know if I saw that on Instagram.
So we took a boys trip down to Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
all right.
right.
So okay. Side note, I'm not the greatest at flying and all that stuff. So I love driving. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll drive down to Myrtle Beach. And so it was like us and like 8 of the boys.
Yeah.
And it was like awesome. It was like a week away. We were right on the beach. It was awesome. But I was like, oh, I hate flying. I got a new car that's good on gas. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'll drive down there. I went down there with our buddy Jeremy Lowndes, Lunch Money. He's been with us for a while.
Shout out Lunch Money. And then Zach Hirsch too. Shout out Zach.
We got in the car, we drove down there, and in the moment you're like, oh, we're gonna hit every thrift store on the way down there. And then we left at like 3 a.m. And so like it was like 10 a.m. and we're like, all right, yeah, like the thrift stores are starting to open, like maybe now like we should go. And then we went to one, and it wasn't like, you don't get that rush because you don't find that like $400 t-shirt that you're thinking of. So we're like, all right, maybe we slow it down a little bit. So like we were just focused on getting there because the boys were going to get there before us. because they obviously flew, and 2 of them got there at like 10 a.m. So
Literally
we're in
6
the
hours before
middle of
us.
Virginia, and like they're sending like they're down in booze, and we're like, oh wow, I'm getting FOMO right now, man.
Yeah.
But we ended up finding this really cool flea market, and like it was in North Carolina, so we were about 3 hours out from Myrtle Beach at that point. But like it was that one thing that we needed, because we went there, and flea markets are huge. Like they're everything you can imagine is there. And we ended up hitting crazy at this one booth, and we did so good that like covered all the gas on one pair of pants that we found. So yeah, no, we came out with like a garbage bag full of stuff. And after that, we're like, all right, it's 2 o'clock. We're gonna get there at like 4:30, and we're just gonna party now. And so that's what it was. It was kind of a road trip, kind of not, but we did find some good stuff.
Yeah, that I feel like like you said, it would have been a lot different had you found something the very first.
Oh, 100%.
That for, yeah,
I would. We're stopping at every store.
I wouldn't have seen him for a week.
Yeah,
I would have been. We would have
yeah.
been in the hotel. I'd be like, Jeff is in Florida. I think he's on the thrift trip.
Yo, we found a hotel, bro. It's crazy, man. They're selling vintage in the basement, like that sort of thing. But yeah, it was a vacation mode. So like, basically, after we came out with that garbage bag, it was like, all right, we worked so hard all these other times. Let's go down there and actually be with the boys and be in the moment.
Now, when you go on a trip like that and you're hitting the thrift stores, what's like the big difference between ones up in the New England area versus ones down in different states? Just because I like whenever I think like going on vacation, it's weird. I like to go to Marshall's because I like finding others.
Ross, Marshalls.
Like we went out to Arizona around Christmas, and I wanted to hit a Marshall's because I knew they'd have like cheap Nike Arizona Cardinal stuff. So like I like stuff like that. So I don't know how it is like for you guys. That's just what I think. Maybe different teams, stuff like that. But with thrifting,
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's so broad.
Yeah, so obviously we do a lot of sports, and around here we find a lot of UConn stuff,
A lot of Red Sox.
a lot of Red Sox, Yankees, mostly New England sports. Unfortunately, Connecticut doesn't have like too many major league teams, but definitely surrounding area stuff. When we went to Tennessee, we found an immense amount of Tennessee stuff.
Volunteers.
So and then you always have like your local high schools and colleges and stuff that are in the mix. You have your 5K run t-shirts that are all over the place. But yeah, it's mostly just whatever's in that area and what's kind of culturally relevant within that area, I guess.
It's pretty cool though, because you get like a feel of like style differences. Like obviously we're up here right now, so we're seeing a lot of winter coats and all that stuff, a lot of like snow stuff. And then you're down in Tennessee, and you're down in Myrtle, and it's all tank tops and short sleeves. Golf, so much golf attire down in Myrtle Beach. Let me tell you, dude, everything is Nike Dry Fit, and the prices are really good down there too, because of like the differences in average incomes and stuff like that too. But like Corso said, it's majority like you'll see it that Myrtle Beach, you're seeing Coastal Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, a whole bunch of Volunteers gear. We were just in Long Island. We only went there for a day though, but like we were there, and we got 2 pairs of sweatpants from the 80s, Champion Anniversary sweatpants that are actually super rare. And like it was like we thought it said Connecticut, but it was like Connecticut or something like that.
Some like weird Long Island.
Some weird like Long Island. Some weird Long Island like local school, but like little things like that. You find Enfield Raider stuff here. You find Connecticut down there.
Right.
Yeah, that's no. With the styles being different, do you notice like a change in the people running or working at like thrift stores in different parts of the country, or is it kind of universally the same across the board?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really notice. Like, I don't ever like.
Never really in the workers. It's always in the shoppers.
Right.
The customers themselves, the people that do what we do. Up here, hostile. It's pretty hostile up here.
It's
we
definitely
got
a competition.
We got a lot of people up here, but like you go down there and it's super laid back. But like I said, prices are different. Everyone's just more like cool, calm, and collective down there. Whereas up here, it's more like you feel competitive almost.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, especially because that's how I think New England just kind of has been branded as well. The whole Northeast is that more aggressive stereotype when you go down south for anything. So I believe that when it comes to the people shopping.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, when you guys are driving, what's the situation? Like when you do your Long Island trip, who's driving? Who's on aux? What is the whole look for you guys
So,
when you're preparing?
so, well, when we went to Knoxville, I don't know if we said this in the last time we talked, but
Yeah.
he drove 12, 13 hours straight almost. And it's basically just a mix of playlists
Okay.
and genres. I mean,
Well, he's the DJ.
we'll
so.
go from classic rock to rap to like indie to podcast maybe. I mean, it's just
Club music.
it's yeah, I mean it's
Literally everything.
it's whatever the mood is. I was asleep like I don't know, a decent amount on the way to Knoxville, and then when we went to Long Island, I drove, and it
Okay.
was kind of the same. It was only like what 2.5
Yeah, it
hours,
wasn't
not
too
even.
far at all.
So it wasn't that bad, and it was kind of just like talking about hopefully what we're gonna find, what we're gonna do, booking the
Yeah.
hotel correctly this time. But yeah, I mean it's a mix of everything. We don't discriminate genres at all.
Gotcha. Now the big question you always see kind of on Twitter, Instagram, when you guys stop at like the gas station, what are both of you, what are you guys going for when you're in there?
You go first.
Oh boy. All right. I'm probably gonna go with an Arnold Palmer.
Amazing question, by the way.
Yeah, fantastic.
Amazing question. by the way.
Fantastic question. Or a vitamin water, the triple X one.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
acai.
Either one of those. And then I usually go for something like, oh boy, the very berry sour worms.
Oh, it's like
They are-
the purple and black bag of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are
Really?
the best. And then maybe like a small thing of Pringles or something like that.
Okay. Now, do you
That's
go
mine.
straight up original or are you cheddar?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, absolutely
Yeah, I
not.
don't think
If-
I've ever seen him eat original.
No, it's sour cream or cheddar. The best ones are the sour cream and cheddar. But
Oh, yeah,
usually those are hard to come by. You don't always find those.
those are like
So-
grocery store ones. You're not gonna find them
Yeah,
at, like Cumbies or
right.
something.
And you can't buy the full sleeve if you're going for it. No, you can't do that. So
Yeah. Jeff.
Yeah, I'll probably sound like a garbage man in saying this, but it all depends on the time of day too. Sometimes it's a coffee, most of the time it's Red Bull, or you go with like a Minute Maid lemonade sort of thing. But the go-to always for a snack is always the munchie mix because it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Now, do you worry with the munchie mix if you're driving, like the powder on your fingers?
Oh. Yeah, no, it's disgusting.
No,
Yeah,
there are
wipe it on your pants.
there are rules whether driving or passenger you have to follow if you're either playing music or eating, providing the snacks,
Yep.
whatever it is that you like. You got to make sure the driver's focused on the road. You got to have either a trash bag nearby, napkins, whatever it is. You can't be making a mess and driving or passengering at the same time.
Yeah, it's all the passenger's almost as, if not probably more important when driving than the actual
100%.
driver because
Yeah.
there's a lot more variables that you have to take into consideration. Like you said, you're
Right.
on the aux, most likely you're probably running directions as well. If
Yep.
you
Navigation.
don't know,
Mhm.
and you're
Hotels.
running snack duty and trash duty. It's
That's
it's
right.
a full-time job. It's
Yeah. And these are unwritten, like these are unspoken. If you get into a car with someone and they don't know what the deal is, cut up. Don't even get in a car with
They're
them.
in the backseat.
Right.
They're in the trunk.
You got to know immediately. Him and I have known each other long enough that we know what the deal is, whether driver or passenger or back seat, whatever it may be. You got to know what's going on.
Was there ever like a violation, like a big time blow up early on in a violation of the rules that you can think of, or is it always just kind of clicked for you guys like right from the rip?
I would say never with us.
Yeah.
With some of our other friends, yeah, like you doze off and then all of a sudden you just feel the car jerk and you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
And they're just looking at like a bird on the side of the road or something like that. But I trust this man. I would say he's one of the best drivers out of all of our friend groups. Even when we were like in high school, he was like one of the first that drove. So like he got us everywhere. So it's never really been an issue with us. But with the few friends that we won't name, but if they're watching this, they'll understand. They know that they're not allowed to drive.
Yeah.
Just absolute liabilities when it comes to that.
Right.
Liability
Right.
is an understatement.
Yeah.
Oof, it's that's tough.
You know,
So you guys have any more big trips? Because like you said, the Long Island one, that one's 2.5 hours away. The Knoxville one is that was like the big business trip because even the Myrtle
Right.
one mixed in with it was vacation with a little work mixed in as well. Are there any bigger trips on the horizon for you guys right now?
I mean, we don't have anything planned as of right now, but like the beauty of kind of where we're at and like not having a 9 to 5 or anything like that is that if we get bored here, we're not finding things, or, we want excitement or whatever, we can kind of just go. We can either book a flight or drive or do whatever we want. So I'm sure we talked about going to Houston. We talked about Seattle.
Texas for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely something is going to be coming up, but no set plans as of right now.
Gotcha. So you had mentioned that you guys don't have to work a 9 to 5 for this. I always, when I think of it, I think of like with musicians when they're starting up, at what point do they realize that this will be able to substitute their 9 to 5? They can make music full time. And with thrifting, I think it's completely, it's thrown to the back burner when people think about that. It's not really a thought of what you guys are doing. So when did you guys kind of figure out that running the vault would be able to kind of substitute having an actual, I say, quote unquote, an actual job, as people would call it?
I think it's the realization of, I mean, in all honesty, I think COVID helped us out the most. And I say helped us out, like obviously COVID has caused a lot of bad things in life.
I know we know what you mean.
Yeah. But with everybody kind of working from home and people losing their jobs, I think us seeing other people lose their job and then find something else right away, and then boom, they have their own business. And with everybody being on their cell phones all the time, there's that opportunity comes about. And we can sit here and act like, oh, this is like the best thing ever. Quit your job, do this, but there's a lot of sacrifices in it that some people really don't understand. That there are things to it that maybe aren't the sweetest and don't get put in the limelight. So like when people see it from the outside, they're like, oh, you don't have a certain time to go to bed.
Right. You can do whatever you
whenever
want.
you can go take a nap whenever and all that stuff. But it comes in your own like morals. You have to hold yourself accountable for things. You are now the boss. Everything that you watch that person when you work for a 9 to 5 who's above you do, you have to do. Nobody's there reminding you of it. You are responsible when things go wrong. You can't ignore the problem because it is your problem. There are a lot of great things of it. We love it so far, and we are growing still, but it's not all sunny days.
Yeah.
I just want to go back with the boss thing. That's a good point, because I think when people think they go out on their own, that it's probably a little easier, thinking that you don't have a boss kind of lording over you. But I'd almost think it's a little bit more difficult because, like you said, you have to hold yourself accountable. You could easily take days off where you just don't work, and then down the line, those are going to come back and bite you. You kind of have to make sure you're keeping yourself accountable. And it's good that you two have the both of each other to kind of keep each other.
Yeah,
very important.
yeah.
Very important. Yeah. I mean, I think to you kind of said, like, where is that point, or how do people know where that point is? And at least for me, Jeff kind of took things over first, after leaving his job. And I was doing like landscaping construction, and I knew I wanted to make that jump, and I was kind of waiting for months, talking to him about it, like waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for a sign, I'm waiting for whatever. And it never came. You know what I mean? It was up to me to kind of make that decision. And I think that's what it is for a lot of people. I think you either take that jump or you don't.
Yeah.
You either make it work or you continue to balance somehow both of them. And we kind of supported each other, and I took that jump, and so far that was August of last year. We've tripled, quadrupled production in general, not just sales, but everything that comes with it. So I don't think there's any point. There's nothing that's going to tell you to do it or whatever.
100%.
You got to take that risk.
That's another great point with the how you said people are waiting for a sign, and like you said, it's a lot of times not going to be there, not going to happen. So it's definitely, I imagine for both you guys, had to have been very nerve-wracking when you quit your jobs and kind of put all your marbles on this and just said,
oh yeah,
this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability. That's definitely got to be a nerve-wracking thing, and to see it all start like to really start paying off must be the greatest feeling.
100%.
definitely.
100%. The hardest part is also telling your family, because I mean, that's like, like, hey, because most of them grew up in the ages to where their parents were like, you're crazy. This is what you're going to do. This is what we've done for all these years. So when you like sit down and you actually tell them like, hey, I'm going to take a chance at this, I'm going to do this, that's a hard part of it. But, you having the confidence in yourself, it's one of those things, fake it till you make it. But if you don't ever take that chance, and 10 years from now, we're both at 9 to 5s working under someone else, and we're like, damn, dude, remember that one time where we almost did that? It's that almost was our like pushing moment to where we don't want to look back and regret it. So why not try it now?
Yeah, that's, I mean, the biggest thing when people say regrets is working the 9 to 5 and how it kind of crushed their dream. So I mean, if you're able to get out early and hit the ground running like you guys did, it's definitely the right path. And before the milestone hitting 3K is huge. So
yeah, and I also want, like, I don't want to skip over. We're very lucky. You know what I mean? We were able to kind of do that. We both still live at home, and we're able to kind of do this. And a lot of people aren't as lucky or aren't as fortunate. But if you can create that balance and then make that initial switch, then more power to you. But I definitely would recommend taking the risk.
Definitely. So one question I kind of had was with storage for all the stuff you guys have, because it's definitely got to be that's so that's what I was wondering, because I wasn't sure if you guys kept it in a garage and like with the weather changing, if that affected stuff. But I mean, if you guys have it in the basement, it's got to work pretty good for you guys. But at any point, do you think you'll hit, when you guys get bigger and bigger, where you're gonna have to find like a storage unit or something where you'll have it as like your main storage area?
Yeah, so we had a storage unit for, I don't know,
Okay.
over a year,
like a little bit over a year.
Because it had gotten to the point where, like, my mom was like, get this shit out of the basement and stuff like that. And so we had one in Windsor Locks, which is like 15 minutes away from us or whatever. And it kind of became, well, we got it because we thought it was going to be easier. We thought we were going to have people come to the storage unit, be able to shop, be able to pick things up, drop things off, stuff like that. But it kind of became a chore for us to go there and get stuff when we had the space, and when we were taking, maybe 100 pieces at a time to either throw them up on the website or sell them or whatever it may be. And at the end of last year, we actually decided, let's just, split everything up. We'll, make it work with the room that we have here, and took the storage unit away. But hopefully in the future,
Studio.
yeah, we'll be able to get a studio or a store or something to put everything inside of, and just be able to work out of that space full time.
Now, kind of more of a hypothetical, but like ideally now you fast forward and you're able to kind of put up a studio in any city in America. Where are you guys? Like, I don't know if it's different for the two of you. So I kind of want to know, where would you guys pick?
I mean,
you go first.
I don't like, not in Connecticut. Honestly, like my answer is not in Connecticut.
Yeah, that's understandable too.
Which is really, it really sucks, because like Jeff said, a lot of our support is Connecticut. We have a decent Yukon following, and everyone around us supports us and stuff like that. But today, it just doesn't really make sense. It is something that we definitely want to have. If I had the choice, we talked about Seattle. I would still love to go to Seattle at some point. Texas is always there. And then probably like New York or something. But again, it's just not like it's not financially smart, I think.
It's really hard, because it's like one of those things. If you asked us 4 years ago, I think in our business plan we were out of Seattle.
Yeah.
Because something about the aesthetic of Seattle was just like so appealing to us. And then it's one of those things. It's tough because, like he just said, here we are working our hardest to get a following, and we are building a following in Connecticut. And it's like, in 5 years from now, like, are we gonna just pack up shop and then move away from Connecticut, or is that like where are we gonna go with that? And obviously we're an online market right now, and if we do find success with that, we can go anywhere. But it's the hardest part, because if you build a brand somewhere and then you move it somewhere else, how you don't know how it's going to be perceived by those locals. You don't know if somebody else has maybe already mastered it over there.
Yeah.
So one of those things that we're definitely going to go roll with the punches, see what works best. Maybe if we are, doing it all online, who knows, maybe we go in 2 separate coasts,
Yeah.
or something like that. And we're
Yeah.
doing it all over the place, or we have what is it, a flag location or something like that?
Like the pop, like a flagship location.
A flagship location. Maybe we have one here and then we go other places, but it comes down to what we're going to do for marketing and how we get people in Florida, California, Texas, Michigan to be like, yo, what you guys are building, we need it over here.
Right,
And
yeah.
so that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be disappointed to see you guys leave Connecticut, because I like having Jeff right down the road being able to drop stuff off for me. Oh, hang on.
Right.
Walk to your house
Yeah.
and drop it off on the doorstep.
That's the nice luxury. In the summer, have you walk down, drop it right there. But
Yeah,
exactly.
whatever works best for you. I mean, it would definitely be very interesting to see what that would look like. But I think that the online right now is definitely still the best way to go, because like you mentioned before, everybody's on their phone, everybody sees it.
Right.
And especially with the online following you've built up, there's no need to go really in person at the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it does suck because we want to do pop-ups. We've almost completely planned pop-ups prior, but with COVID, it's really, really tough. And we want it to,
We want everyone.
yeah, we want it to be big. We want everyone to come out, and have a nice big pop-up for us and celebrate and meet people that we, only talk to over DMs or only buy over the website and stuff like that, so I think we're still going to do that. I think once COVID kind of calms down, and we can really plan and set something up, then that'll be coming.
Nice. Now, one thing I always think, because a lot of the stuff you guys get in is great. I mean, I have the Rolling Stones Fenway t-shirt is still one of my favorites. I got a Grateful Dead one from you guys, which is awesome. Has there ever been a time, maybe early on or even recently, where you guys maybe misjudged an article of clothing that you've gotten, whether you undervalued it by way too much, or you thought you found something that was like the greatest ever and it just turned out to not be that? I'm not sure how that works with clothing.
Yeah, so I would almost consider the vintage clothing to be like a stock. What's valuable right now may not have been valuable 2 years ago, or vice versa.
Okay.
We were on a live last Friday with one of our buddies out in California, and he showed us a piece that he had. It was a Yukon piece. And, I was telling him, like, yo, 3 years ago, we sold that for like $35, and like $35 back then was like, yo, we're eating good, surf and turf. Like, we just sold that for like max value. And now it's like $100 shirt, $150 shirt. There's some t-shirts that we sold for $100, that same thing. We're like, pop bottles, let's go. And now it's a $500 shirt, $1,000 shirt. So, there's times to where, we try to sit on things, we try to predict the future, but it's so unpredictable in the aspect of to where, if a celebrity wears it, boom, you're golden. But how are you supposed to know when? How are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to know when? And this is the messed up part that we don't like. But like, a celebrity dies, all their stuff skyrockets in value. You don't know what's really going to come when it comes to appreciating. So that sometimes when it comes to like overvaluing stuff, we try our best to do our research. If we get a piece and we're like, okay, that's a $350 piece, we're going to list it for $275, because somebody's going to really want that. And if we can offer it for 75 less than market value, and we say market value because there's really no market, but it's what we do based off of our research, so we try to always be below the gauge.
You had brought that up. That was a big thing we talked about last time too, though, with the death of Kobe, how that kind of, you saw like a lot of the jersey sales went way up. Pretty much any Kobe gear, any Kobe shoes, was automatically the price doubled or tripled. And that and you guys brought that up too about like the morals kind of thrifting. It's a tough thing because you could, if you have a Kobe shirt, you could easily make a big buck on that. But if you
Right.
you don't want to really have the look of profiting off of people's death. It's a tough
Yeah.
one to recover from.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think it goes even further than that. I think it's just business morals in general. You know, I think you can look at it from like a real estate point of view. You know, even if you're like a manager of a restaurant or something like that, I think how you operate and market or do whatever ends up reflecting on that business or reflecting on us as people and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that we think about and don't want to portray something like that. And it's just, I mean, it's just nasty. It's just nasty in my opinion. I don't, it's not something that we support.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I always have a blast when you guys hop on the show. It's always a good, oh, you know, that was one thing I forgot to bring up. It's kind of totally away from that. I saw you guys post about the Tom Brady apology. And also,
Yeah.
I think we sort of disagree a little bit. Not
Okay.
I have no issue with him not apologizing. I'm a Vikings fan, so I don't I don't care. I think you guys were going more that it was like funny that he didn't apologize because you were like that you idolized this man for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That was his post.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
I mean, I'm a Giants fan and he's a Seahawks fan. So like in the same breath, like we don't care either, but watching our Patriots friends and people online spiral, it was one of the greatest days.
So as a Seahawks fan, February 1st for the past 7 years is hell. Okay. It's the worst day of my life. It's the day I get trolled the most. So for me to get a February 1st to where Patriots fans kind of hurt, I was like, all right, yo, this is my chance to really get under their skin. You know, I'm really gonna make the Patriots fans hurt. So it was one of those things there. Truthfully, I don't think Tom Brady should thank them necessarily just because I think he already left there. He already thanked them. He gave them 6 Super Bowls, but if they're pissed off about it, I have to be like, oh, that sucks, doesn't it? Dang, you know.
It is a weird look though, seeing the grown-ups on the internet just complain that a 44-year-old man didn't thank them for the 20 years where he gave them something. And in reality, Brady
it's the best.
They're supposed to thank him.
It's the best.
The Pats fans just grovel on the internet yesterday. It was awesome.
All over Twitter and social media. Listen, I said this to someone yesterday. I'm a big sports guy, as much as he is, as much as anybody else is, but never in my life have I idolized or praised an athlete like Patriots fans idolize and praise Tom Brady. He is the greatest of all time. I have absolutely, I mean, other than Eli Manning, but whatever.
Nick Foles.
But to say, you know, he's a class act and this, no, he's a competitor. He doesn't care about your feeling. Yesterday was a great day.
And did you notice that there was like nothing Seattle based? There was in the morning. It was in the morning. After that, dude, I was freeze scrolling, dude, had nothing to worry about. All there was some Patriots tears. I had some people have some choice words for me on the post, but you know, everyone knows he's the greatest. He was the greatest of all time, you know, and you know what? If I can sneak in one last troll before they spend the next 100 years talking about the glory days, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. They had their fun.
It's going to be brutal, I think, the next 10 years hearing Pats and Bucks fans, because about 75% of Tampa fans are reformed New England fans that blowing Brady his whole career.
100%.
It's going to be a very tough 10 years having to listen to that, especially if the Patriots don't go back to another Super Bowl. It's going to turn into it's going to be like a reformed Dallas fan base.
Listen, if Mac Jones ends up going to the playoffs or a Super Bowl, we'll never recover. We'll never hear the end of it. It'll be the worst day. Patriots fans are going to end up running the country and taking over everything. So, I mean, shout out to Bill Belichick, but God forbid if they go back, we'll never hear the end of it.
They're nasty people, man. They run in packs, dude. If somebody says one thing to me, next thing I know, I got 10 dudes jumping me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's incredible.
We went to the Buffalo New England game in
hell
Buffalo,
yeah.
and like I didn't own a Buffalo hat, so I just wore my Pats hat, and like I was defending Patriots fans to Buffalo fans.
Yeah.
Like I feel like an idiot having done that there, just because
Yeah.
Right.
Like, Pats fans are just these ruthless assholes on the internet that are mad at the guy that won them 6 Super Bowls is just so brutal, just so
Yeah.
bad.
They're evil. They're
I mean,
absolutely evil.
they did end up getting their little like story post.
A 10 words, by the way.
Their
10 words.
little like, oh, sorry, I forgot about you guys over here. So they should be happy with that.
Better, I think it's even better because it was like, oh yeah, I didn't forget about you guys. It was just like an afterthought, which I think makes it 100 times better.
No, 100%.
There was a troll yesterday who actually tricked people too. Well, Portnoy, I don't think believed it, but Portnoy was like, oh, I would love to believe that this is true. So the guy had like 150 followers before Portnoy quoted him and saying, I would love this. And he was like, he said, #breaking, Tom Brady's going to sign a 1-day contract, fly up to Massachusetts, and you know, and he's going to retire a Patriot.
One Patriots place, speech.
All of our Patriots friends are like, like, fuck you guys. Like, I told you he was coming back, and like sent us the tweet. And the kid who sent us the tweet wasn't being an asshole, but I like wanted to do my research. So I pressed on the guy and I was like, brother, he's got like 220 followers. You know, did you know that? And then a real NFL analyst like said per sources, like Tom Brady will come back and sign it. And then the troll in the comment section was like, hey, what are your sources? And everyone's like, oh my God, you actually trolled him and all this stuff. I was like, you guys are gullible, man. Like, why is he going to leave sunny Florida to come back up here? Maybe he'll come out and like flip the coin for the coin toss this next year. But like, he already had his goodbye. It's not like he drives me crazy.
There was another one. It was I was listening to the radio and they were talking about it, and one of the guys reported like as fact that another troll must have tweeted it that Robert Kraft is currently throwing a temper tantrum in his office. Reports of screaming coming from the office, and it like one of the radio hosts like reported it as fact from like one of like the Barry McCockiner Twitter accounts that
right
himself the Schefter, which is still one of the greatest like Twitter moments if you catch that.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate, like I said before, you guys coming on at the Vault CT. Just hit 3K on Instagram, so make sure you go check those guys out. It's great account, great finds. I'm a personal customer of them too, so it's no BS, just awesome stuff.
Thank you, man.
Hey,
Appreciate
man,
it.
much love, brother. Thank you for having us back.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the My Parents Office podcast, and stay tuned for more episodes we'll be dropping.